Hey y'all, this is Ciarfox. Welcome to my stream. I'm checking to see. I did some changes with the visual stuff. Looks fine. Okay. Alright! Well, maybe if I go to a place that's more graphically inclined, we'll see. But sorry I'm a bit late. I was in the middle of the last raid. I was doing the duty finder. And I ended up red maging the monastery, and God forbid I'd be the only red mage there, and I only died like 3 times, and that was on the last boss. Yeah, but I asked them to res me first when nearly everybody wiped on the final boss. And they res me last, even though I pointed out that I can insta-res, so, I don't know, that caused that fight to be longer than it should have been. Ishnai, are you alright? I think a return to your sickbay might be in order, or you may consider resting while on top of the watchtower next to the rookery. The Stamidal sky doesn't make it for much soothing scenery, but the Exarch often liked to stand there and feel the wind upon his face. Whatever you decide to do, I suggest you do it slowly. You're not well yet. Sorry, I can't hear you over me still getting over COVID. That's not the end of it. No, I do that in the middle. Running, running. Running! Oh no, I am not alone. I'm gonna do this as my astrology now. I forgot to look at the intro for the Innocence battle. We should go back when we go back to the room. Let me do that.
The people of this city have spirit, I'll give them that. They've not lost the will to fight. I can imagine how torn you must feel, looking at that sky. Knowing what it means to everyone. And that you're responsible.
The secrecy is worse. I wish people knew.
If you're thinking of coming clean, don't. It might make you feel better, but it would make things 100 times worse for them. They're better off not knowing. You're in a corner, and there doesn't seem to be any obvious way out.
Then let me claw my way out.
But that doesn't mean it's over. However hopeless it seems, you haven't lost yet. I remember looking up at the sky like this before. Being caught up in a strange kind of calm. It was after we realized we were responsible for the flood. When we resolved to journey to the source by taking our own lives. One last sacrifice. One last fight. One last failure. And then
I don't know, it brought me here.
And, well, you know the rest. There were times in the years and decades that followed when I wondered if we might not have been better off just letting the rejoining happen.
Well, I'm nothing if not petty, so no.
That we'd made one last mistake. But
Ascian's
seeing
done
that
enough
giant
problem.
Talos stir to life cured me of any doubts I still had.
Why, though? Because it brought the world together?
Always we took the burden of fighting upon ourselves. That's what heroes do, isn't it? So we never had the chance to see anything like that. Our people coming together as one.
That really wasn't my doing to some degree. I don't have the...
To think that their hope still burned so bright.
Communication skills for that.
That they were still so eager to live, they would lift up their fellows, one on top of the other, till they reached the sky. No. We made the right decision. And I can finally feel proud of the part we played in helping this world survive.
Sweetie! Fist pump!
Well, come on then.
By our powers combined!
As I thought. What happened between us was no coincidence.
Then why didn't you try again earlier?
My story may be finished, but the fates have gifted me a minor role in yours.
I mean, you could be a major role if you want to be.
I suspected as much the moment I realized you could hear me.
We're connected?
But it's hard not to doubt yourself when you're the man who caused the flood.
You didn't really cause the flood. That was the Ascian's part.
I was afraid to do anything more than watch for fear of making things even worse. But no longer. After all, the path I once walked is now yours to finish.
Standing on the shoulders of those who came before you.
For what it's worth, I cast my lot with yours.
I'm not making you gonna regret that or anything.
If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you. If you lose control, I'll do my best to stop you.
Oh, I love you! Sweetie! Hun! Baby doll!
So, let us be about it, hero.
You're just as much a hero.
Oh, I was worried you were up here all alone, brooding and fretting and wallowing in your woes. But look at you, grinning at nothing like a pollen-drunk pixie.
I love you, Phil.
Look at what you've done to your ether. It's a mess. And you have cracks running all through that pretty soul of yours.
I'm sorry.
My poor little sapling. Whatever am I to do with you?
Hey, stressful overtime, how are
Shall I
you?
yield up my throne? You could claim it, cut ties with the mortal world? Hide away in the castle?
But the castle won't survive if...
It won't fix the problem. But would it really matter? If any pesky heroes come calling with steel and magic,
Might's been going
all of Il Meg will
reasonable.
rise up in your defense.
I wouldn't say amazing, but reasonable.
My crown and scepter are yours, if you want them.
Yeah.
What? Don't give me that look. Of course I knew before I asked that you'd never ever heed such a wicked suggestion. And besides, what would become of my precious and ephemeral flower? Oh, my dear beloved sapling. You are lost, confused, and have precious little time to gather your wits.
Not wrong.
Your kind is always so preoccupied with what lies ahead, and so we muddle your vision with fog and glamour. But such trickery is easy to see through. Stand very, very still. Think not of where you need to go, but where you are right now at this moment, at this time, in
Think.
this place.
Here. Feel.
Our cairn of crystal. From shadowed hood he watched you go, his ruby eyes with warmth aglow. See yourself as he saw you, and that shall be the clearest clue.
My self-esteem won't let me see myself the way he sees me. Rahatia. The first lie we ever have to make is to ourselves.
You stand in his garden, dear sapling. Ask his flowers what they know, and you will surely find an answer. But what will you do with it, I wonder? I'll be watching and waiting. Waiting and watching.
Arrange your bed, Anubis, so you can lay on it. There. Right in arm's reach. And you still try to sit on the fucking keyboard, okay, cat? Not right now, bub. Oh, don't give me that look. Oh ho, I didn't expect to see you on your feet so soon. Surely you've not come in search of a Mamuro. What do I know of the Crystal Exarch? I'm happy to share, but I fear there's no surprising revelations. As any in the city can tell you, he's the man of wisdom and compassion and many untold secrets. None can doubt his generosity. When the Crystarium was being constructed, he even allowed folks to plunder the tower for resources. He has imposed no restriction upon us except one. No one except the Exarch is permitted to dwell within the spire. Many seasons passed. A comrade of mine was bold enough to ask the reason why. The Exarch merely smiled and said, because one day the Crystal Tower may vanish as suddenly as it arrived. Since To this very day, the tower remains as it always has, solid and imposing, yet I do not think our steward's warning was a falsehood. And even if it were, none would dream of breaking that one rule and risk shattering the community we've worked so hard to build. Trying to play this goddamn game one-handed! Yes, cat. Which one's that one? Yeah, you can make it that way too, but I have a cat who's currently trying to take over the keyboard. Besides, I don't get off on sadness, so I don't really think there's any ooh-woo here right now. Yeah, there is a joke in there somewhere. Not sure where. And it even involves a pussy. Cat. Go. Lay down. It's good to see you're awake and alert, my friend. I haven't had time to implement it, except for the one time I did the duty finder, but... I mean, the roulette, but I do have plans of maybe using it soon. I just haven't had the time. But there were some interesting things that it covered that I didn't think of, so... What's this about? You're not writing the Exarch's memoirs, are you? I'm not sure how much I can tell you, considering we avoid asking too many questions, unspoken rule, and all that. If anyone has any fresh insights to share, then it'd be Captain Lena, I'd say. She lost her parents to an eater attack not long after she was born, and the Exarch saw to her upbringing. Outward appearances aside, the two are like grandfather and granddaughter. I imagine the news of his predicament hit her doubly hard. Not that our proud captain would ever let it show. If you decide to talk to Lena, she'll be at her usual post at the Assessor gate. Might pull something up. I forgot to check. Oh, I can, get the Pictomaster if I want to. And the Viper, I guess. Why am I going that way? But I won't for now, because I need to level up the other classes. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like the red mage one that I have. Well, I'm going to use for my red mage. That I can't really do much with right now. Yeah, I'm probably going to stay off from getting the next two classes until... a bit later. Mainly because there's so much other things I have to do. Was there something else you needed? If you come to the results of my research into the persistent light, I'm afraid there's little I can tell as of yet. And by the way, the reason why as much as I love healers and being a healer, one of the things I first did on my other account was pretty much level all the healers. And kind of was depressed after that. Because I couldn't switch between, you know, that joy of leveling to some degree. Records pertaining to the Exarch. Well, I need no documentation to relate what little I know of his history, if that is what interests you. Less than a decade has passed since the coming of the flood, when the Crystal Tower first flashed into existence. Its summoner, Exarch himself, became known as the known to refugees in the Lakelands soon after. He welcomed all who sought out the spire, be they locals who lost their homes or Vtuber fleeing their ruined kingdom, and together they did found the city which became the Crystarium. Some thought to call him king, for he refused to share his name, but the summoner did not deem himself worthy of a royal address. Thus the people considered his, scintillating skin so alike to the tower he had summoned, and bestowed upon him the title of Crystal Exarch. As for his true name, well, it seemed that a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Grahatia? The Exarch has been ever been one to conceal his full appearance, though I have occasionally spotted what could only have been a tail. Course. Job well done. Okay. I'm afraid that my subordinate here would have been thoroughly disheartened with the return of the light, but she has more confident and resolved than ever. She's matured enough in just a short amount of time. Light is back, but mark my words, it won't be for long. Why, I bet the Warrior of Darkness is out there fighting for us even as we speak. No, she's currently talking to you, but Ishnai, I was not told you had awoken. A welcome surprise. Now, if only the Exarch was returned to us. He was taken by this rival of yours, was he not? Your companions mentioned they had an idea of where to find him. And so I bristled when they asked for patience. I do not understand their hesitation. Until I saw that you had fallen. Only then did I realize that I had no business rushing ahead. Even so, the delay has been no less agonizing. In the moments before he left to join you in Colossia, the Exarch entrusted me with a key. It opens the door in the ocular to a chamber known as the Umbilicus. This room is the heart of the tower, onto which only the Exarch himself is permitted to enter. He bid me allow none enter the tower once he departed. Only in the event of an army of eaters descend upon the city was I to access the Umbilicus and awaken the defensive barrier. Never before had he left me with such instructions, but the battle with Fall3 loomed near, and at the time I accepted the key without much thought. Since then, however, that moment is all that occupies my mind. When I recall the look upon his face, he knew that some terrible fate awaited him. Tell me, Ishnai. I need to know what he feared. What battle you and your companions are truly fighting. Forgive me. I trust in the Exarch, and I should not be voicing these doubts when he is not here to respond to them personally. But you have come with me a question of your own, have you not? Ah, I see I'm not the only one who burns for answers. The time has come to open the tower's heart. Though we do not face an invasion of eaters, I suspect the city will be in far more danger if you do not gain the knowledge you seek. Nina urges you to follow him. Come, meet me in the ocular. I will unlock the doors within. I wonder how lazy I'm about to be. Very. Even though I really shouldn't be wasting money on this. Fuck it. I'll get back the money. Yep, I'll be plenty rich soon. I pretty much just got on for the day after I stopped streaming, like, an hour ago. And part of that was spent in a raid that, I was the only red mage, and I was continuously rezzing people. So it wasn't like it was a new thing, and when nearly all the party wiped at the final boss, the healers, and when I said, I can insta-res, the healers res me last. When I said, raise me first, I can insta-res people. In chat. Mistress Ishnai, the captain said to be expecting you. Entered the ocular. So, I'm a bit rar about that. Because it was the, monastery quest.
The door to the umbilicus. You are free to enter. Once you have what you require, I'll see it sealed once more. Until then, I will remain without.
This book looks absolutely out of place. Also repeatedly, you know, textures, but I shouldn't really ask too much about it. They're just books after all.
A moment to collect my thoughts, I prithee. Thy true name is Grahatia, then?
Oh, who'd have thunk?
By thy claims, thou too art a native of the Source, though from an age beyond our own, when the 8th umbral calamity hath visited devastation upon our star. Thou hast, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to unsow the seeds of catastrophe, ere its creeping vines drag our champion unto an early grave.
In essence, yes. A difficult story to swallow, I am sure.
I mean, he is over there. Currently.
I doubt not the veracity of thy words, not the account of thy coming, nor that of the fated calamity. Yet my mind straineth still to apprehend the enormity of this tale. Wouldst thou favor me with a gradual unfolding of its chapters?
Certainly. But where to begin?
At the beginning?
I should start with those great minds who survived the calamity. Sid Garland being perhaps the greatest.
Of course Sid survived.
In hopes of staying the unending tides of war, he and his fellows pursued all manner of possible solutions. One of these was rooted in a theory which unified several fundamental principles discovered over the course of the Warrior of Light's adventures.
I have principles?
It proposed a method by which one could enter the river of time, traverse the rift, and leap between worlds. Perfecting that idea, however, was a work which consumed their lifetimes, and thus was it left to future generations to decide whether theory would be put into practice. But all the while, the world continued to burn. Hope was a feeble outpost, beset on all sides by thievery and misery and murder.
Murder.
People cried out in despair. There is no hope. We are finished. Mankind is finished. Then others raised their voices in answer. Though we be beyond salvation, those who came before may yet be saved. We will forge a crossroads and pave the way for a different future. By the wisdom of our forebears, we will prevent this calamity from ever having come to pass.
And they would have never been born. Think about that. If it's still like a continuum theory. Rather than like a break-off universe.
The fighting went on unabated, but some few took up Sid's research and labored to realize
the Dragon Ball Z problem.
Ideas.
With Trunks.
After 2 centuries of labor, their descendants finally succeeded in awakening the Crystal Tower, an integral part of the process, and, in doing so, roused its caretaker, me. By this stage, scholars had largely established the phenomena underpinning the rejoining, and identified the first as the shard which precipitated the 8th Umbral Calamity. This grand structure was already capable of storing the energies required to attempt the translocation. All that remained was to augment some few of its functions based upon the theoretical models of Sid and his compeers.
And by means of such technologies didst thou effect thine arrival in the first, to an age before this star had joined with the Source.
Some while before, as it turned out. 'Tis all but impossible to predict how time will flow between one world and the next, and we missed our mark by almost an entire century. But this only worked in our favor. The Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only woman who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation.
And you kind of misfired a few times.
An undertaking of scarce credible endurance. That thou hast kept thy plan from falling into disarray these many years bordereth on the miraculous.
Sorry, I'm checking the bitrate.
Yet howsoever history be rewritten, thy present self was shaped by events which followed the calamity. Should said catastrophe be averted, the very skein of thine existence will unravel. Surely thou hast foreseen this.
I am aware of the consequences. 'Tis for that very reason Sid and his colleagues bequeathed their legacy as an offering, and not an edict.
Aww.
To give all of oneself for the happiness of others, and with no promise of reward. 'Tis a hard thing to ask. Harder still for those condemned to survive in a world which pitted brother against brother. Indeed, you are right to call the execution of this plan miraculous, though the force which held it together was nothing so inexplicable. It was her. The warrior of light has been our unbroken thread.
Don't know why.
Where others would stumble and fall, she would rise above. Where others would break and run, she would carry on.
This is pure luck to some
The
degree.
warrior of light's tale is one of unyielding bravery. To tell it was to feel courage. To hear it was to feel hope. It was a breath of inspiration in an age of suffocating shadow.
I think all of y'all think too highly of me.
In the histories of a fallen nation was our hero hailed as its greatest ally.
Doma.
In the time-worn pages of a noble's memoirs were her deeds joyously retold. For many, these stories were the flame which warmed them through the coldest of nights. And so it should come as little
thank you,
surprise that the plan
Stressful,
found no
about
shortage
offering
of
the
volunteers,
crafting
concerning as it
materials.
did the Warrior of Light herself.
But I would pay
It
you
was
for
their
them.
chance to add their own
To be
verse
fair.
the hero's saga. She was the lodestar that brought them all together to send their final message back through time and space to her.
Yeah, but no pressure, though. No pressure whatsoever,
The light
Grahatia.
of your legacy was our torch in the darkness. Burn bright again and live. I am merely the bearer of that wish, come to ensure it is safely delivered.
Wherefore sharest thou this burden with me and no other? What wouldst thou have me say?
That you will be my accomplice? 'Twas you yourself who convinced me of your suitability when you spoke of how you learned of the Flood, and of your part in arranging Minfilia's journey to the First. Your actions showed uncommon resolve. 'Twas clear you were committed to the cause of saving this world.
He also lied to me. Even though I was thinking over it when I was going to bed, well, I mean, this morning, it wasn't a direct lie. It was a lie by omission more than anything else, and that still is bad for me.
I knew I could trust you to choose the right path forward, even if that choice came with a heavy price.
What price?
When all is said and done, and the last of the Light Wardens lies slain, I will absorb their corrupted ether, and then I will die. Knowing what I know of your companions, not to mention your champion, they will try to stop me.
I mean, they didn't try too hard to stop you. They were more worried about me, but I wasn't very happy with you.
But in saving one, they would save none. Therefore, I implore you to aid me in concealing my identity, and ensuring this tale ends as it must. To this end, I would have you take what I have told you of the Calamity, and make of it a portent. A prophetic vision you beheld in the swirling chaos of the Rift.
Oh, he already figured out the lie on this. The bitrate's being a bit opinionated. I was trying to do a better one. So I'm probably at an hour point going to... So I don't have to go through and try and combine 2 videos or like 2-hour point.
Is this truly thy wish?
To have to combine videos. Or I could work something out.
History remembered the Warrior of Light, as I knew it would. And I will suffer no other to rescue the champion whose star has charted my course. I will see this tale to a happy end, my friend. There has been enough tragedy.
Careful now. If you lose control again, the Light could claim you for good. Although it's probably only a matter of time before you succumb to the change in any case. What do you mean to do?
Take over the world, Pinky. Sorry, that's a joke that I've been doing it. I mean to have a few words with both Emmett and the Exarch.
Then we should be on our way. Diassian mentioned the Tempest, did he not? That's the stormy seas around Calusia to you. His lair must be down there somewhere, hidden beneath the waves.
Fun. Let me complete this, and I'll need to restart the stream, okay? Did you find the answers you saw? If there's nothing more you need, I will go and lock the door. I have some questions about the Tempest. The Tempest, that is the name given to the seas by which Cole is bound. If you're making requests to Tamers, they'll provide you with the ammo to fly over the waters, but... You mean to leave right this moment? Alone? I'm not sure that... Nay, I will not seek to stop you. Go with the blessings of the Shadow, and I will wait you safe return. The word to the Tamers at the launch will lead you to a base will carry you to the Tempest. I only hope they'll be close enough to where you need to be. I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna restart the stream real quick, alright?